Good morning. Glad to see everybody here this morning. Glad to see everybody's all right. If you don't mind, we'll go on ahead and get started. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma General Council quarterly meeting, June 1st, 2019. Secretary, you call roll, please.
Leanna Sampson, Anthony Conley, John Narcomi,
Here.
Rena Tiger, here. Sylvia Davis, Patrick Thomas, Raimundo Gomez, Jeffrey Harjo,
I'm here.
Timothy Hooper,
Here.
Kelly Davis, Anita Lena, here. Patricia Kishkutan, Karen Albright, Dina Tiger, here. Jennifer Horn, here. Zena Yesla, here. Thomas Billy Jr., Thomas Shahola,
Here.
Abraham Ferrani,
Here.
Susie Harjo, here. Natalie Harjo, here. Gregory Botel,
Here.
Catherine McCoy, here. Charlie Hill,
Here.
Fanny Harjo, here. Kelsey Morrell, here. Regina Langford, here. William Williams,
Here.
count of 19 present, 9 absent, I declare that we have quorum.
Chair, I'd like to say that Patty will be here. She's
Yes, I would like to ask that Mr. Thomas go to here and be excused. His sugar was high, he wasn't feeling very well today.
Ms. Van Harjo, would you lead us in opening prayer? Please do this.
Father, we praise you. We thank you, Lord, for the truth and deserve. Father, we pray that you will be in the midst of us today as we make a decision for our tribe and our nation, Lord. Father, we pray that you be with every representative that we might be able to honor one accord, Lord. In the name of Jesus, we ask all these things in thy name, for thy name, we pray. Amen.
Motion to waive 10-day notice. That's for second.
Second.
John Markey,
Yes.
Rena Tiger. Yes. Raimundo Gomez, Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hoover,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright. Here.
Yes.
Dina Tiger. Yeah. Jennifer Horn. Yes. Cindy Gessler. Yes. Thomas Jehola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo. Yes. Natalie Harjo. Yes. Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy. Yes. Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Fanny Harjo,
Yes.
Elsie Morel. Yes. Regina Langford. Yes. William Williams.
Yes. By count of 20, yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions, declare the waiver to have passed. Next order of business is reading residential housing.
Chair, we have actually, this last meeting, before this meeting, received some clarification from the election board. If there's no objections, I'd like to address that issue before we approve the minutes. No objections?
What?
I didn't hear what he was saying, so I object to whatever he said.
Representative, I'll let you.
Could you say that again? Because I didn't hear it. Sorry.
We received some clarification from the election board as far as the issue that we had ongoing. So I would like to go ahead and discuss that.
We asked.
I would like to go out of order and discuss it at this time.
No.
If there's no
I
objections,
understand.
I call for a vote.
Is the election board here?
You can't be here.
You should say,
Chief, you know, this is old business. You need to get over,
objection.
you need to go over this. We don't need to go there.
motion on the floor.
You know, we've been sitting here for 3 months now. I don't see what you hope to accomplish by bringing this up. It's over with. So you need to get over it.
Motion on the floor.
Real quick, in regards to your motion though, what are you asking for within your motion? Are you you
That's the
asking, are you,
clarification that the election board gave us. We're going to discuss that because they gave us clarification. He can't be here. He gave us a statement as far as the board, where they stand on this issue. It is an ongoing issue, regardless of what some people say, because this deals with code and constitution. So we have to clean this up. We have to fix it right here, right now. This is our job to do this. It's our responsibility.
there's a motion on the floor, there's been an objection.
I just have, I have a question. I'm not. Is anybody else here?
That's
I know. I did, mine doesn't.
Your responsibility. I'm sorry. I'm going to have a conference.
Well, I have a statement, so
Oh,
can I pass that out?
After we get
Yes,
the
clear it all.
information.
Vote, call for vote.
Was there a second?
I heard from here someone.
Was there a second to it?
Who's second?
Secretary, call roll.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Archibald,
Yes.
Rena Tiger. Yes. Sylvia Davis.
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez. Jeffrey Harjo,
No.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Abstain.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Deanna Tiger. Yes. Jennifer Horn. Abstain. Sina Yesla.
Abstain.
Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferroni,
Yes.
Susie Harjo,
Yes.
Natalie Harjo. No. Gregory Botoff,
No.
Catherine McCoy. No. Charlie Hill.
No.
Fanny Harjo,
No.
Kelsey Morrell. No. Regina Langford. Abstain. William Williams.
Stay. By a count of 10 yes, 8 no, 5 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Representative Yohola.
Yes, Chair. According to the letter that we received from the election board, Mr. England, there's never been a certification for the seats of the Eufaula band. Now, going through the history of the minutes and trying to find some sort of precedent set, you go to 2001, 2008, 2007, there's a lot of instances where this happened. There is there's an inconsistency, yes, but one thing is true in each one of these instances is that everyone asked for the paperwork to be here before they are sworn in or a vacancy is declared. That's always been a part of the process from my understanding from where I look. And even Mr. Harjo chaired one of those meetings back in 2001, May 12th, and he himself asked for the paperwork. So it's no surprise that paperwork does come before this council, before someone is seated. So the election board does certify before they're set, and to my knowledge, from the information I have, they have not been certified, so they legally cannot be sitting there. That is what we're talking about, because we have a process in place, and that is part of it, because the paperwork in each one of these instances, it asks for election board certification. So, with that being said, they shouldn't be sitting there until they're certified by the election board. So based on that, I make a motion that Mr. Harjo, Mr. Gomez vacate their seats until certified by the election board and call for a second. Second.
Okay. We have a letter that I will pass out to all of you guys. Clearly states that Article 9 of the Constitution talks about removal. So I don't read all of this to you. I can pass it out to you. I have, looks like about 28 copies. So, there was a decision made by the attorney back in March. He determined that we could take our seats. He determined that we could be sworn in. We've been on the council for 3 months. Mr. Gilhola needs to get over it because we are legally seated as council members. And so I don't know what else to tell him. I have the document here. It clearly looks at Constitution, Title 10, also Title 9. So, am I allowed to pass this out?
We got representative, I got rep.
Well, he's doing that, Representative Yehola, and then Representative Carter.
I think.
Yes, Chair. I'm not questioning the removal. I am questioning the process in which we seat someone. That is my question, is the process, because we established that all together with Tom Palmer and Ms. Monroe as well. That happened in that instance, and she did vacate. She got certified, she came back, she was sworn in. Same thing, we're trying to establish procedures. That's what all I'm trying to do is establish procedures that we follow it. And it's always been that the paperwork be in place prior to.
Representative Hoover. Representative Hoover.
I just like to point out a couple of things. Whatever happened in that last meeting when there was another attorney general up here. We're not perfect, we all make mistakes. And he was in error, in my opinion, in his interpretation of the codes. And one other thing I wanted to point out is the election board's quarterly report. He's saying, Mr. England says that they did not receive requests for certifications during that quarter, that all bands members, the potential new members, are saying that they forwarded the application for certification. So we have a discrepancy here. That's got to be clear.
We have so many misinterpretations of our laws, and neither one of us have a law degree, but we do have interpretations. Previous interpretations, according to our Constitution, according to the articles, state that if there is an interpretation that's happened before in a previous Attorney General, then we do not supersede it. Now, I know what you're trying to say, and I know you're saying you're not arguing the placement, you're arguing the procedure. We have so many procedures that are out of order right now. I mean, this is kind of one of those things that needs to be cleaned up. But I see how this is kind of an injustice on some people because we didn't follow the procedure. We've been arguing procedure this whole time. I stand up here and argue procedure all the time too, and I agree. I think procedure needs to be followed. However, this is banned business. I still will stand right here on this pedestal and state, this is none of my business. Now, I know if there was a situation that was at hand and somebody caused any type of scene or it starts to look bad against the council, then I can see that, yeah, we have a say-so because we're trying to stop that from happening in this nation. However, there is nothing that's happening here that's against law. I mean, currently, there's nothing happening here that's against law, and we can argue this all day, all night. But what's previously established is they have been seated for 3 months. We've already paid them. We've already followed the procedure. They've already voted. We've already accepted minutes. How do we go back from that? Now, that doesn't mean that it's not correctable. It's just why now when we have so many other things that are up here that are needing to be fixed. The other thing that I would like to state while I'm standing here is this letter states, if not being able to attend general council meetings poses a problem due to my work situation, then I need to be made aware of it so I can submit a letter of resignation. I would like Mr. England to be made aware. He needs to be here when we ask him to be here. I would like to see a letter of resignation if he's not going to be here.
Yes, Representative Yehola.
Yeah, and of course, I appreciate Ms. Hartley's statement. Yes, I am arguing procedure. I'm not arguing banned business because that banned business should have never made it to this floor. If it is banned business, it should have never been here. They should have took that fight somewhere else. They should have went to court. But by bringing it here, they made it council business. That's the distinction. You bring it here, then you make it our business.
I'm going to interject a little bit in regards to this, in regards to the procedure you're talking about. The procedures that you're talking about, I understand what you're talking about, the election board and the election, the events of an election, that they do have to be certified. But in section 303, though, it does not describe anything whatsoever as far as that in the process between filling a vacancy. In regards to codes, it does not discuss that. It does not put anything down for them to do. It only talks about somebody that's been elected for an office at the beginning of an election, that they have to be certified and they have to pay $50. If we're going to talk about procedural, then you need to change that also and say, because our procedurals for paying their fee is different than what the election board, the election really establishes at the beginning. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a quick question. Is there a reason why we're not live streaming yet? We haven't even voted on that process.
There is something wrong right now, but they are live streaming it right over here.
Oh, come on.
I have people contacting me and asking me, okay, we haven't voted on that process, so it wasn't announced, there was errors.
We're recording, we're just not live right now.
Right.
Is it in lieu of the time that we're wasting and that we're
There's an issue with the
about what we're doing here? I make a motion to table this indefinitely.
Second.
There is a motion. Representative Yoho.
So I just get clarification. Okay, I made a motion to have.
No discussion on the
I'm
table.
getting clarification. I'm getting clarification. I'm the chair. Clarification. So I made a motion that Mr. Harjo and Mr. Gomez vacate their seats until they're certified by the election board. Now, Mr. Harjo has made a motion to table that, right? That's what we're going to be voting on. To table that motion. Thank you, Chair.
Secretary, we call roll, please.
Leanna Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley, John Archibald, Rena Tiger,
Abstain?
Sylvia Davis, Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Carter,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
No.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
No.
Dina Tiger,
No.
Jennifer Horn,
Abstain.
Sina Yesla,
Abstain.
Thomas Yahola,
No.
Abraham Ferrani,
Abstain.
Susie Harjo,
Abstain.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Fanny Harjo,
Yes.
Kelsey Morrell,
Yes.
Regina Langford, William Williams,
Abstain.
By a vote of 11 yes, 6 no, and 8 abstentions, I declare the table to have failed. There's a motion on the floor.
The table passed.
Yeah, the table passed. Oh, I'm sorry. My fault.
What was the extensions? 8?
11, 6, and 8. Okay, now the next order of business that we have is the minutes for the April 27th, 2019 General Council Quarterly. Is there any change or corrections to the minutes that were presented in your packet? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes,
Second.
but I'd like to make a comment too as well. These minutes were 27 pages long, and to me, we don't really need all of those details in there, especially when, like reports from committees or boards and stuff like that. We only need just who showed up, and that's basically it. I've never seen minutes like this where all of that drama is put in for details. That's just sentences.
Representative Golden.
I would have to disagree. I think it's good to have a hard copy of black and white. That way it circulates and that way everybody has access. So I have to disagree with that. I like the way things are.
And I agree as well. I don't reference back to the pettiness, but I do check on the votes, the discussion, and what was said. Because a lot of times, as you know, things are misstrued as we further go on.
Do we have any motion to approve? A motion to approve the minutes? There's a motion already out. Second. Secretary, call roll on the minutes.
Deanna Simpson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley, John Arcady,
Yes.
Rena Tiger,
Yes.
Sylvia Davis,
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Gishton,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Gina Tiger,
Yeah.
Jennifer Horn,
Yeah.
Cindy Gessler,
Yes.
Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo,
Yes.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, yes. Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Fanny Harjo,
Yes.
Kelsey Morrell,
Yes.
Regina Langford,
Yes.
William Williams,
Yes. By count of 25 yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions, declare the minutes to have passed. If there's no objections, at the last council meeting, there was a request to ask for BIA to be here. And, Mr. Streeter, Mr. Eddie Streeter, and Ms. Sherry Smith have taken their time to come and join us this morning. Would there be any objections to allowing them to step up and address whatever questions that need to be presented to them? Is there any objections to that? Please, if I could, Mr. Streeter and Ms. Smith, would you please come forward? We want to thank you, guys, for taking the time to join us this morning.
You bet. Good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone.
Good morning, Representative Harjo.
You can go ahead and introduce yourselves and then I'll ask my questions.
Okay, that's fine. As many of you know here, I'm Eddie Streeter, and I'm the regional director for the Eastern Oklahoma Regional Office, and Sherry Smith's here with us today, the warning official for the Eastern Oklahoma region. We got a request from the council and the chief to come and answer any questions that you may have with regards to the current audits, plus the drawdowns that are taking place right now. We can give a little history of how we got to this point, or we can just take questions. It's entirely up to the council.
Representative Yola.
Mr. Streeter. We've been under the impression that we're still under sanctions, and then Chief Yoko has said that we are not under sanctions. I want to know clarification. Are we or are we not all federal employees still under sanctions at this time?
Well,
Do we get 112 drawdown?
you get monthly, you're on monthly drawdowns right now.
Is that a sanction? Clarification.
It's regarding the delinquency
of the audit that was in 2017?
This measure was put in place because of that. So would,
But the thing that, the reason why you're still on monthly payments, even though that you submitted the audit, there were some findings in the audit that were considered material weaknesses based upon cash payment. And according to the Single Audit Act and also the 2 CFR Part 300, which regulates the single audit, because of that cash payment, because of the cash payment issues that the tribe continues to have, because the finding was a repeat finding where you have disallowed costs, and what it means by cash payment is the funds were not transferred into the BIA programs, and it's as if they were not used for the purposes intended.
okay.
So that's why you continue to be on monthly payment, although regarding the sanction, you're not on sanction because of the audit, because it's already been submitted on actually monthly payment. It's not technically.
Okay, so then why the information that we received, there was like 3 levels, they were referred to as sanctions. And then this particular drawdown was actually part of that.
Right.
And it did refer to sanctions. So then, so you shouldn't even put that in there then.
Well,
If we're saying it's not a sanction,
I was
because that,
following-
when you use that word, you put it in that category, then that's where it puts it to the rest of us. That gives the clarification that these are sanctions put in place at 112 disbursement for our programs. And now, you know, when it first came down and someone said, we are under sanctions under 112. And I said, okay, so that hasn't been lifted. We're still at 112. And in the literature that we had, they said this was one of the probabilities of what could happen of the audit or the disallowed costs, or whatever you want to say, any kind of non-compliance with your guidelines, with funding. So that's where I'm confused. It was part of what you had given to us, saying that this was part of the sanctions due to non-compliance or non-reported disallowed costs or continually non-compliance of an issue. Then why was it included into that literature?
Well, you have two different things that we're discussing here. You have the disallowed costs.
Yeah, I understand disallowed costs.
Yeah, that which was found in the 16 and 17 audits, and the payback of those funds. I think that's what you're referencing with the package that was given. That's separate from the monthly drawdown. What being restricted to the monthly drawdown. That's a management decision by the awarding official due to past actions, and she relies on the Indian Affairs Manual as well as the Interior Handbook of Audits. And it says if you have disallowed costs, then you do no less than quarterly drawdowns.
Okay. So, from my understanding, there was a $200,000 discrepancy as far as we had to pay back, somewhere around there. And
16, it was near 300,000, 17, 200.
so, the process for that, sometimes at the administrative level, executive level, we can dispute that. And sometimes it can be negotiated downwards. Was there ever an attempt to do that? To dispute it and negotiate it?
The 17 one was the 16. The 16 one was appealed, but then the nation decided just to pay the money back to the program.
So it was appealed or it was disputed? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, appealed. You're disputing that it happened.
Okay, but we didn't follow through with that. We didn't go ahead and follow through to go ahead and try to negotiate that down. We're just gonna say, we'll go ahead and just pay. Even though there's an opportunity for us to dispute this, maybe we can get it down a little, we'll just go ahead and pay it, just get it over with, more or less.
Part of the negotiation is providing documentation that the funds were paid back to the program.
Yeah.
If you can't provide documentation that if you can show significant proof that the funds were paid back to the program, that's part of the negotiation. And
Yeah.
if they were, and the tribe couldn't provide that information that it was paid back.
Yeah, these amounts they're not from the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They're from your auditor.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, and you get
We
the
just
audit
make a report.
You get the audit, and then you come back and tell us that this is disallowed cost that you spent something you shouldn't have. You may have to pay it back, or unless you already have. Then we can dispute it, and then we can actually get a decrease of what you're asking for disallowed cost payback, so to speak, right?
Well, you would have to provide documentation.
Well, of course, yes, documentation. I'm just asking that we didn't follow through with the appeal. We just went ahead and stopped and went ahead and paid because you saying, from your understanding, we couldn't provide the documentation that we ever reimbursed wherever that money was.
Part of the documentation is the bank statements, and we were provided that when the appeal was formed, and also in this last one, we had a plus feedback that did show the funds transferred into the BIA programs that were
We can't tell you why the deal was.
Okay, I understand that because that's between us. Our executive office is to you, but they would actually have to find documentation to do that.
So, we have several others that have some questions.
Thank you.
Representative Carjo.
I have a real quick question. Small statement. This council passed a motion to not let anybody sitting on this council to contact any federal agency, BIA included, unless this council approves it. So as me as an individual, I can't contact you and ask you questions. Any one of us as an individual can't call and ask you questions unless we have a past resolution that states that we can do so. Have you been contacted by anybody in this council without approved anything, any resolution? Because we've heard some things, statements that said that's not what Sheriff Smith says. And I just wanted you to have this area to clarify that as a point of information for this council. Because instead of talking about it behind each other's backs, we want it all on the table and on the floor. So if that's something that, and you guys are aware of that, right?
No.
So if I contacted you and said, hey, Eddie, can you tell me blah, 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 and then you tell me, then I did that outside of my turn at council. That's nothing on you, because you didn't know. I just wanted to know because that goes against what we're doing here as a code of ethics for the council. So I'm just gonna ask you right now, have you talked to anybody or has anybody contacted you recently?
Not that I talked to a lot of people, but I don't know anything.
Right.
I don't recall that I've talked to anyone.
Okay, so just kind of take this for what it's worth. If I call you and ask you, if anybody on this council calls and asks you a question, make sure that they have a resolution that allows them to answer those questions.
Sorry, can I ask you what date are you talking about?
Last council meeting, one of our representatives states that that's what happened. That's not what
No, I'm not
yours
asking about states what happened.
You mean the resolution?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know, but I can have the records department pull it up, absolutely. We can absolutely have that pulled up.
I'd like to see that.
Because I'm just gonna be honest with you. I have something that I can ask, but I'm not gonna stand up here and cause anyone else to be put under scrutiny because Representative Carjo can't provide a date as to when this went into effect.
You were on the council, you don't remember?
I'm asking you, you were the one that presented it. I mean, I don't want to debate anything.
I mean, I'm just
I
asking, I'm not
the date.
debating.
I'm just asking the date, you provide the date.
I'm gonna go with Representative Yahola, and then Representative Hill, and then Representative Fulbright.
I'm going to ask for the same thing. I've never seen the resolution. It's only been
Okay, we can have that.
contact with the BIA because in my understanding that, I mean, I always thought we could actually contact and ask general questions, but you get specific, I didn't know. And I didn't contact them anyway, so I just want to see the resolution. And see what's specific.
Really quickly, I will look it up, but it had to do with one of the representatives, and I think it was back when we had an issue with Head Start, and we had people calling Head Start, calling BIA, asking questions about it. One of the representatives here actually contacted them, and it was back in the previous administration, and they were talking about how we were getting in trouble because the right hand didn't know what the left was doing. Previous administration didn't know that these people were contacting those entities, and it was starting to cause problems because those entities were questioning our ability to govern ourselves. So I remember that happening. I will find specific times and I will pull that literature and we will go from there.
Representative Hill.
Well, basically, it's not scrutiny or anything, it's mainly like cover up, that's the way it seems to be around here. people want to cover their friends up and all that, okay? We've got a video here that we can fall back on, Mrs. Harjo. You can reveal it and all that, who stood up and said it, etc. And supposedly, you received a call, okay? Which you can stand there tonight at your rights, okay? But anyway, my question to you would be, y'all talking about the artists and all that, or we had to pay back like 200,000, 300,000 and all that? Are we talking about back in the last administration?
It would have been the two audits that are at this level.
Before September of 2017?
It was 16 and 17, yes.
That's the last administration.
Yeah. The 18 one is due at the end of June, and then that will be for.
And that's why we had to pay, et cetera, and all that. And all that. Okay, maibuni ba miko ujima. Next door in the north, my hospital. Next uda miko uda haya. Nichibolo. What I said was it happened to the last administration pertaining to the previous chief that we had. That was the downfall that happened, okay? It's not the present chief that we have. I just wanted to clarify that, okay? Thank you so for your time.
Representative Fulbright.
Yeah, can you give us a status of the, election report?
I don't, they did interview us at length, but the report is not done, so I don't know. I don't know how long it generally takes them to issue the report.
Okay. Are we meeting the minimum requirements for self-determination now currently as it was stated? We were not in the review.
Are you talking, what specifically are you talking about?
I guess, I don't know, in general.
Well, but there's many things if we're talking about with regards to the audits or how the contracts are carried out. I don't think that there's any issue with the services being provided. We have not been notified or in the reviews, nothing's came out that shows that the services aren't being provided adequately. I will say though that another issue was with the submission of the financial documents, the financial reporting that the 638 contract requires in 425s. And almost a year, well, we went a year without receiving them. They were supposed to be submitted quarterly, but now they are up to date, right?
Yes, they are.
They are.
They have been submitted.
And, we don't get a lot of information, what's going on at this body, as what's going on here at the nation. We have to look and seek and find, because we don't have transparency here at the nation. So, you do what you gotta do to get your information. You get people telling our people at large one thing, and then another telling, and then we find out it's not correct, so.
Real quick, in regards to your transparency, let's keep it to strict questions here in regards to that. Representative Harjo, and then back to Representative Yahola.
Do we still have programs that are concerned that have audit findings that haven't been taken care of?
No, not currently. I believe everything has been paid back. And when we say paid back, the money, while the tribe does, they internally pay it back. They don't pay back to Treasury. The funds go back to the program. So the funds never leave the tribe. But currently, I think everything is good.
So in other words, the audit findings have been taken care of at this time?
Well, we won't know until the 19th. Because how we got to this point is, just paying the money back is not that's not you just don't want to keep doing that. There's some internal things that the tribe needs to take care of in their accounting house and we'll see in the 19 audit
Okay,
when that
then
took
could you
place.
tell me what are the programs of concern today?
It's cross-cutting, but I believe it was the ones that in the 17 audit, and I'm just working out, it's aid to tribal government, social services, and job placement and training were the ones.
But in the 16, there were some.
I believe law enforcement was involved in the 16 one.
So we have 4.
Well, in the 16 one, you're going to have social services, ICWA, job placement training, aid to tribal government, law enforcement, all of the BIA fundings that are presented as 638 programs, all of them had deficiencies in them for the 2016 calendar year. All
So
right,
they still have pragmatic, corrections to make?
That's what we're currently trying to work on right now. 2016, we had a $296,000 fine. 2017 has been reduced back a little bit to $225,000. All right, now as we currently go through, it's going to be all of them, not all of them, but some of them will have some deficiencies in them. And so the 630 of 19 will be when 18 will be reviewed. Now we're going, and just so that you have a clear understanding, there will be a few deficiencies in this one, but it'll be reduced back. We went from 296 to 225, and it'll be reduced back even more for the 2019. And we're trying to clear it up as we go along. Like they were saying, the 425s have been met, and that's what we're working on to get them out to them. So I just want to share.
Thank you.
And it's not the individual programs that are causing it. It's an accounting issue, an internal accounting issue. It's not the programs themselves.
Representative Yehola.
I think one of the concerns we've seen demonstrated with these 112 allocations is the light heat program is a good example. Because we cannot, since we only get 112 for that, is that correct? If we can't focus on the winter months and have it there for the people to disperse. Does that come down in 112 as well? Y'all do the light heat? Social services, and then, so that's, what is that? Is that a?
It's the VIA programs.
Yeah, light, but I'm not exactly. Yeah. Social service may,
Okay.
it may.
It puts it through another source.
Yeah, it may be convenient for social
Another funding
services.
source. All right. So, how close do y'all work with our compliance officer? I mean, is there any kind of interaction that y'all can, where it's concerned, talk to the compliance officer and get it straightened out that it happens at that level so it doesn't escalate or, continue to grow? Is that an instance where y'all
Well,
interact?
we do monitoring visits, annual monitoring visits, but we also, the AOTRs, the awarding officials, technical representatives, we're available if you have issues. We're available to help or to provide technical assistance. But what we're talking about is your accounting procedures, which is one of that was part of the finding. And I don't know how exactly we provide technical assistance on your accounting procedures, because that's an internal issue that needs to be corrected.
Well, we're not the auditors, so this is something that,
Representative Harjo, and after this last question, then we'll.
Well, no, I was just wanting to know if there could be some TNGA expected from you for us, because I think that this council, we have a lot of new members on this council from last election, and we have yet to see any technical training for some of them, and there's some of us on here still don't know, but there are some new ones that I would like to see some TNGA come to VIA to better understand our programs and how they work and everything. So.
sure, that's not a problem. Just, ask, and Sherry had brought up that there was a good online training that was sent out to all the tribes for the audit handbook. There was 2 sessions of it. It was really good training. I'm not sure if the nation participated in that or not, but we can see if it's going to be offered again.
Point of information. I know I've spoken a piece, this is a point of information. Title 16 of the General Counsel. It states history enacted in 2011, so we can probably look back to then for the actual everything. But in our limitations for the powers of the General Counsel, it shall be deemed unethical for any tribal official or tribal employee to, on behalf of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, officially contact or initiate contact through correspondence or any form of communication any federal, state, or third-party official without delegation of authority from either from the General Counsel or the Seminole Nation Chief or Assistant Chief.
Any other questions? Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, since it looks like this first go around in a long time, we have unfinished business, with nothing underneath it. So we can go to reports of committees. Anybody have anybody that they would like to have come up? Representative Gibbs.
Well, this was brought up, but in accordance with the agenda and all that, the election board is noted on here, but I understand he's not gonna be here because supposedly he's working underground somewhere, and he works 6 days a week, so I guess that's giving him a hard time to come above the ground to come here. And if you read his last paragraph on the iPad, it states that if he can't make it, like he can't make it today and all that, that he would be more than happy to go ahead and resign, turn his resignation in. I would highly recommend he do that. Why? Because we need someone that's gonna be available, that's gonna be on call. Once we call him to be here, as a director, that person should be here instead of going around curves and just throwing us curveballs like all the questions were asked previously, and he wasn't here to tell us what was said, what was done, etc. So, personally, as a council rep, I would like to make a motion or direct him to go ahead and turn his resignation in. Thank you.
Representative Fulbright.
I just might want to make a comment that, you know, you don't follow the laws or codes with the election board, you know, and this council backs it up, you know. It was clearly done, and nobody cared, you know. So I don't see why, you know, he answered your questions in a report, and I don't know what more can be said. I think he's doing a good job in there. I think that our council's the one that's not following the codes.
Representative Yeslet and Representative Hall, you have some opinions.
Well, the program I'm going to discuss about is not on the agenda. Housing, we had a resolution that was emailed in and submitted in prior to deadline, and it didn't make our agenda. We have somebody here. Can that be proposed now, or do you?
I mean, if we want to go ahead and do that, we can.
Is there any objections with having housing time? There was a resolution for the.
There was a just so that in regards to her discussion, in regards to this program that she's talking about, there was a resolution that was sent out that has a deadline at the end of July. And it is, they're asking to apply for an ICDBG grant of $5 million to help for the housing needs for the housing authority. And so I was going to bring that up in other business, but since she's brought that up now as far as one of the programs, I believe Ms. Hardiman is here. If there are no objections.
I'm sorry, but I mean, anything that has to do with money, we have to take it back to our band. I mean, I don't know about other bands, but.
What they're asking to do is to apply for it. It's just giving them the authorization to apply for it. It's not that it's that they're just asking for your permission to go get it. That's it.
Is there any matches?
No.
No matches. All right.
What was the reason it didn't make the agenda? Because it met the deadline.
Yes, it did. Apparently nobody saw the email in regards to that because I believe that it was submitted to 3 individuals, and of those 3, it wasn't seen.
If there's no matches, executive can make that decision.
Representative Yahola.
I was just gonna make a comment as far as Mr. England providing a report. I did appreciate the report.
Wait, you're on.
I had my hand up.
We weren't done, Mr. England, she just stood up and asked.
No, yes, we were moving on.
So,
What did you say?
I'm just making a statement.
Okay, make a statement.
And I appreciate what he did, we put forward. Yes, it does need some work over it to be cleaned up.
Okay.
We don't need to, for example,
Assistant Chief of Getting Representative, yes, are you?
Yes, we'd like to bring that forward. If we can bring it forward, if there's no objection, but there is no match.
If there's no match, executive can approve, okay?
No, it's a grant. It's approved for
Yeah.
a grant.
Exactly, executive can approve it if there's no match. That's a precedent set.
Representative Sims.
Ms. Yes, is up there. Can we go ahead and call the Housing Authority Board of Commissioners?
Got it. And it's audience.
And also, if Whitney could come up as well with Chair, would there be a contact?
No, absolutely.
Good morning, everyone. Do you have any questions, Mr. Hill?
Yes, I do.
Hello.
Hi. First of all, there's about 2 or 3 other commissioners missing, right? Give or take. I don't have to give up names or anything. I'm just asking, okay? Okay, as a chairperson, right, Chairman? Your term has expired, right? How long has it been since it's been expired?
I believe 2 years.
2 years, and to this day, we have not filled it.
No.
Or replaced you, or continuation, or whatever, or
The idea of replacing us was, it needs to be staggered because of the history, so I'm trying to stay until we get someone so we can kind of stagger that, not just throw them in cold, if you will.
I understand what you're saying, but if something should happen, like, we're all are expendable, we can always be replaced at any given time.
Sure.
There's no 2 years, 3 years, 5 years about it. Okay, now my question to y'all would be, I believe you've got 15 employees working at the Housing Authority. 16, give or take, I was close, okay? And I believe maintenance, like, you've got about 8 employees there?
Yeah.
Okay, but you've got 8 vehicles there though, for maintenance.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm getting to it, there's a lot of things y'all probably don't know because you probably don't interact with employees, okay? About 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, there was a travel vehicle from your department, Housing Authority, that was seen at Shawnee at 4:30 in the morning with your logo on the truck itself, with a person driving, okay? That was on a Saturday morning, that's when most everybody's sleeping, okay? They don't know what's going on in life, okay? But the people that did it were smart. However, I encountered with the people that work over at the Housing Authority, they couldn't give me who or what or whatever. So when you think back, okay, the people that worked there before, they are smart people, okay? And not only that, keys can be made, extra copy, etc., and the vehicles can be utilized without no one knowing about it, okay? That's been going on, okay? And not only that, for about 20 years now, the Housing Authority, I believe the hours, working hours for an employee is from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4:30. That's not fully 8 hours, right? 8 to 5 is mostly what people work. You get an hour off for lunch.
I don't think they get an hour. They don't do an hour for lunch.
Okay, 30 minutes, give or take. That's what y'all say, that's what it says. But when you go down there and drive and see other people, they take hour to hour and a half for lunch, okay? No names mentioned, all right? And then second of all, when y'all have your meetings, okay, how often do y'all have it? Once a month or once every other month or what?
Generally once a month. We have had an extra meeting here lately just
Yes.
to follow up with some.
Okay, with that in mind, when y'all have a meeting, you're talking about all your commissioners being there. I believe y'all get paid stipend pay $100, right?
$150.
$150, okay, that's more than some of us. Y'all get $150 for being in a meeting. Not only that, the food is paid by the housing for y'all to eat when y'all have your meetings, right?
Yes.
I mean, be honest, okay? There's nothing to hide or anything, okay? And then don't y'all also get stipend, what do you call it, gas mileage for the vehicle?
Yes, mileage, yes.
So y'all get quite a bit.
Which that is.
In comparison with other board members, like we should have a constitution, also committee boards, they never get paid, okay? And that's our fight for the nation. But I just want to bring it up for things that was brought to my attention, okay? Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Representative Hooper.
The first thing is did you bring the board or part of the board up to answer questions about the grant?
Yes.
And what is specific? Okay, I think we're getting into things that is out of the purview of this guy.
Yeah,
And
is your question?
one more comment. It shouldn't be asked first, it's not the director of the program.
Our director is out today because her son had to have emergency
No,
surgery.
that's not what I'm asking or saying.
Right.
I'm just saying it shouldn't be directed to her.
Thank you.
Representative Harjo.
I understand that there's the sellers, you know, the storm shelters, as they're called, were they locked up, at some point in time, or have they been, off limits to the people, the clients?
We keep a close eye on the weather, the housing authority does, and so anytime there's weather, they are unlocked. We work with White Horse has a key to go unlock, we unlock. So we have made sure that there's definitely emergency placement in there in case one of us can't get to the storm shelter. So they do a very good job. Emails are sent out to all of us, letting us know shelters are open. We know if the weather has potential to bring a tornado. So the housing authority right now does a very good job of making sure those are unlocked.
What is the reason for them being locked up?
Because there was some unsavory activity occurring when there weren't storms.
They were getting vandalized. Teenagers were doing things in the cellars. We couldn't leave them open. We tried. We did try that. And then there was just too much riffraff going on. So we had to lock them.
I'm sure there's a good reason for you doing that, but I just wanted the people to know why they're locked up, because I know a lot of the tenants and so forth report that they're locked up, and I've been told from time to time that there's some that are in disrepair that need attention, and they haven't gotten that attention, and a lot of things probably go on at that housing authority, you know, that doesn't get reported to the people. So I just want the people to know, you know, because that's what we're supposed to be up here for, is to represent our nation, not only just our bands, but our nation.
Well, we'll definitely let the director know about that. The housing board, we randomly go out
Where is
together.
she today?
Her son had emergency surgery yesterday morning, so he's still in Children's Hospital. So if y'all could lift him up in prayers, that would be appreciated.
Okay, we sure will.
But that's where she's at this morning, or she would be here.
Okay.
Representative Young.
So do y'all have a prepared draft resolution?
We do.
I mean, can you email that to me or something? So
I can, yeah. What is the best way? Because our director drafted a resolution that was sent with the email request for to be placed on the agenda. It's $4 or $5 million. We own property already out at Barnum, and we're working to already get infrastructure in place. But this $5 million would help us build 20 homes out there and complete the infrastructure. It is a grant. There's no matching. So that's what we would do it for. What is the best way to forward that resolution to you? It's pretty straightforward.
To the council secretary, that way she can disperse it.
Well, and that's what I didn't know the answer to that too. Is there, okay, she's going to give it to me.
Because we can take this up under other business
Well, I think that was what Ms. Gessler was asking, is if we could take this out of order so that Ms. Hartman didn't have to stay through the whole meeting.
Can you just read the resolution on?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
And also, when's the deadline? Are we
It's
punching it
August,
today?
but the council has done away with the special meeting in July.
Right.
So this would be our only chance to get it in.
That's fine, that's what I kind of thought.
Do what?
I think the resolution just reads out to apply for the grant.
Right.
You're just asking for permission.
Yes.
Application and fire resolution.
The council has previously voted that our applications to grants have to be approved by them first, so that there wasn't conflicting applications. So that's why we're coming here. Okay. A resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma General Council authorizing the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma to prepare and submit the Indian Housing Block Grant Program competitive grant on behalf of the Seminole Nation. Do you want me to go through each of the whereas? Okay. Be it resolved by the Seminole Nation Council assembled, whereas Article 5 of the Constitution of the Seminole Nation empowers the General Council to promote public health, education, charity, and other such services that may contribute to the social and economic advancement of the members of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Manage and lease or otherwise deal with the Seminole Nation tribal lands and communal resources in accordance with law, and enter into any contract on behalf of the nation in conjunction with any activity that will further the well-being of the members of the nation. And whereas the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma utilizes funds from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development Indian Block Grant in accordance with the Native American Housing Assistance and Self-Determination Act, NAHASDA, of 1996. Their mission is to create affordable housing through safe and viable communities that enhance the quality of life for tribally enrolled members of the Seminole Nation. And whereas one of the HUD's strategic objectives is that programs should increase coordination among federal programs that seek to promote, among other things, decent and affordable housing and access to health care. HUD believes that there is a close relationship between health and housing stability with respect to vulnerable populations and utilizing HUD assistance to improve housing and health outcomes. And whereas the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma would like the opportunity to address additional housing needs of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma by developing a master plan with single and multifamily housing. And whereas the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma is requesting the authority to prepare and submit the Indian Housing Block Grant Program competitive grant on behalf of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Now therefore be it resolved that the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma hereby authorizes the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma to prepare and submit the Indian Housing Block Grant Program competitive grant to specifically provide for the housing needs of the tribe. And I will go ahead and forward that.
Representative Simpson. Yes. Back in December, there was a bill agreement to be added.
We can't hear anything, excuse me.
Back in December.
Would you stand, please? Are you okay? I mean, you don't mind standing up? The word can go over his head and all that. It's not. No.
Back in December, there was a letter that was sent to the nation to add the treatment to the housing. I've asked on numerous occasions and meetings, why hasn't this been done?
Question for the director.
No, it was the way you guys have worded it on your website. We're in the majority when you count us every year for this program. You're excluding us, we're in the bottom. That was the dispute.
If I may, there's been a change in HUD since that time, so that slowed down our progress, but we've specifically asked for confirmation that freedmen are counted in the calculation of the money that's received, and for written confirmation that they recommend changing the categorization so that the priority points are different. So that's what we're waiting on, is written documentation from HUD.
Send that.
Yes.
Okay, now perhaps this.
I don't know. It's been sent, the request was sent at least a couple months ago, and we haven't heard back. But like I said,
Can I get a copy of the request?
you have to talk to our executive director because it was sent by her.
When is the next council?
It's the third Thursday, it will be. It's gonna be June 20th at 5:30 at the Housing Authority.
Chief, we just need somebody to volunteer to sponsor this, because if so, then the Welcome will agree to sponsor this, and we can bring it up in other business since it's not on the approved agenda.
Representative Narcomi.
I just want to ask Assistant Chief, he had quoted that this action really isn't necessary if there's no impact in kind. Can you tell us where that's stated?
Actually, what she quoted, the history behind that, and that's a lot of interpretations that come from this very young council. Sometimes it's because they don't have the history behind certain legislation that passed. There was at one time ICDG grants that was applied for at the same time, and public meetings have to take place. And when this council was dealing with those issues right there, actually that was why it had to come to the council. That when there's grants that's pressing
and there's no monetary match and obligation by the tribe, which usually when ICBG there is. So when that resolution came that it has to come to the council, that was the reason. I think we had some veterans and housing into it, right? That first time, and that's why that happened. So that's a little history behind that. So whenever grants come in and there's no monetary match, it has been precedent set that the executive can approve it.
It doesn't, but though not arguing in regards to that, but I do agree.
Then it's a good thing to have the council.
Yes.
That's why your attorney
There's a
general asks,
Yes.
does it require a resolution?
Yes, it's
Because there's a process in any type of grant applications, and I have the floor right now.
And I just want to state that with what she just talked about.
Okay, so it's,
Oh yeah, and that's the history behind why that passed.
so generally it's advised but not required.
If you're going after ICBDG or CBG grants, definitely. Because you don't want the conflicting organizations within the tribes going after the same
Same,
grant.
and that's the reason why that verbiage is in the language of our codes of laws is for it to follow, and that's the reason why she stated that the way she did.
This is a different type of grant.
I understand it is, but it doesn't state that in the law. Representative Hoover.
Different type of grant.
I'm gonna strain my memory on the history, and I invite anybody to help me. And, I remember in the past, I don't know if we call protocol precedent, but there was always discussion, executive and housing authority, when these types of grants came down to CBGs, as to where the greater need was, and to avoid that conflict that you were talking about, that there was a discussion, some discussion between the tribe and the housing authority as to who would apply for that grant. And am I not recalling that correctly?
Correct.
And I just want to know, has that discussion taken place?
No, that hasn't between the housing authority and myself.
But will it?
Oh, it would. I would imagine that it would. Yes.
Imagine.
It can, but the thing, we know it's writing range right now, what's on it.
Well, housing has always been a high priority for this nation.
That's why it's been addressed.
Since the 30s, or maybe before.
Representative Marjo.
I just wanted to provide a point of information regarding grants, and my question was, is sometimes the grants that we apply for, even if we are all in agreement and there's no problem and it's non-competitive, sometimes they require a resolution to be passed to apply for this grant. Sometimes it's just strictly formality, and that's what I was checking to see, because I'm not versed in ICBG. I can say it, but anyway, I didn't know if that's what we were here for, if it was strictly a formality, or sometimes we need an omnibus grant. I just didn't want this to come up again when we have some more people coming up here, and then it's required by the grant for us to pass it at the tribe, or as a council, and then we try to pass it without the council. So I just wanted to make sure that clarification happened, because every grant is different, and this isn't one of those grants, but I do remember the competitive part of it. So, I mean, yes, I appreciate that, but I just didn't know if it was strictly a formality or if it was necessary.
There's no objection to this. With any further discussion, yeah, if you can bring that motion up under business, then we can vote on it then. Thank you very much.
Wait, we're going to other business? Or?
We can do it. I mean, if there's no objections, we can do it now.
If there's no objections, then yeah, let's do another business just to follow the procedure.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, anybody else that you? Princess Committee. Princess Committee. Any questions for the Princess Committee? Representative Narkman.
When are what are the dates to apply for next year's purchases? What are the dates that the application's open? What are the parameters?
Our applications were out in March. It was supposed to be from March the 1st to June the 28th. They are due June the 28th by 4:30.
How go the applications? Are we getting a lot of applications, or are we?
We had a Princess meeting to invite girls out. We posted it up, and we had 5 girls that were interested in running for the titles. Right now that I know of, I know that there might be 4 contestants running for Miss Seminole, 4 contestants running for Junior Miss Seminole, and 2 contestants running for Little Miss Seminole.
How about senior?
We don't have any. I've been trying to get candidates and recruiting, but I know applications have been picked up, but they haven't been turned in yet. So.
I know this has been an issue in the last few years. How do we go about getting senior applicants? What? So I mean, certainly this must be the discussion y'all had. What can the council do to help get senior applicants?
Encourage the ladies that are 55 and older.
Encourage the ladies from your band members. So if you have any, or if there's somebody on council that's 55 and over, and like before I had discussed with someone that you don't have to attend powwows. Mainly the things that you attend are tribal events. And even the 5 civilized tribes, the older ladies help mentor the younger ladies. You know, guide them with different things, help them. They're more like a grandma, basically. But they're there. They're all together. Their families are with them. There's usually a representative from our Princess Committee that's there too. But us being so short, we rely a lot on the parents. We have relied a lot on the parents the past 2 years. But we would encourage anyone, if there's anyone, you have a grandma, anybody, auntie, whatever, 55 and over, you know, family member.
Your main source of income is fundraising, correct?
Yes.
So I'm not making any proposals right now, but it's something I think the council needs to entertain. The princess's job, as far as I would think, is to promote Seminole Nation. Having them out there fundraising for the majority of the time is fine, but it shouldn't be their purpose for being our princesses. We took away their budget for whatever reason. Maybe it's time we thought about giving them back a budget so that our princesses aren't always out there fundraising and the committee could actually do a little bit of promotion. Thank you.
Representative. Okay, getting back to Mr. Darkby, okay, logically, when you think about it, okay, first of all, congratulate y'all too. There should be more, but they're not dressed, or they're not here, or they dropped out, or whatever, okay? In order to recruit 55 years and over pertaining to our elderly ladies and all that, number one, before I say this, it should have been, no offense, General Council Secretary, you got Older Americans Program Advisory Board, it should have been Senior Citizen Center, and then parentheses OAP on the agenda, but that's fine, it can be changed later, okay? But anyway, we can get women from the OAP, the old place OAP, since it has been changed, that's why I'm using the word, okay? We can go there, they go there a lot, okay? But the only drawback, the reason why we don't have 55-year-old Indian women are because they're traditional. What I mean by that, they have tribal customs. They, even to this day, they do not like what we have every year at Seminole Nation Days, the third weekend of September. We've got too many other things going on, like powwows. That's not part of the tribal custom for Seminole tribal members, okay? Now, you bring up about money, about funds and all that. I'm gonna tell you something, okay? Seminole Nation down in Florida, all the way up to here, okay? When they dance storm dance, all right? Seminole Nation has what you call storm dance ground called Gar Creek, okay? Y'all are Seminole princesses. If we can give money to the Gar Creek powwow storm dance grounds, like last year, $4,500, okay? $1,500 to the camps and all that, and $3,000 to the medicine man. I believe the executive staff should have some more money to give to y'all, to support y'all, instead of all going in one area. Because y'all travel a lot, okay? But nobody thinks about it that way. They only key in on one little event. Why? Because of friends and relatives. You take care of them first before anybody else. It doesn't work like that, okay? That's the trouble with our nation. Like I've said many, many times, everybody that sits in here get uptight and mad about somebody being seated here and all that because they don't like their friends that were removed or whatever. That's all it's based on, friends and relatives. That has to go. This is a business that we're supposed to be running. And that's mainly you. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Any other representatives?
Yeah, just a quick question. Where's the Miss Savelle? Oh, okay. See, I didn't know. I just saw two. I saw the junior and the little one. I was like, well, where's the miss?
Representative.
She had her hand up first.
Representative Tiger. Representative Gill.
Okay, I just want mine real quick. With Representative Narcome's statement, can I ask the finance chair? I thought for sure that the princesses had a $25,000 budget, so I don't know where it's getting that their budget was taken away, because I haven't heard about that.
Perhaps cut. Perhaps cut, but I haven't spoken to the.
I think that's been for a long time, even when I sat on the finance committee, it was $25,000. It may have been $27,500 at one time, but, okay.
Yeah, we do have a budget, but our fundraisers is for extra money. Say there's other places they want to go that's not, that budget money is not used for, they use that extra money to go other places like gathering. Or if they want to take that other trip to Florida, they use that money for that.
So even though you do have a budget and you have to use it wisely, I think it is a good idea to do the fundraising because I would rather see young ladies apply for it not just to get a free ride of they're going to pay for everything and they don't kind of work for it, because I think it is an honor. It's not just a beauty contest. It's about being Seminole. So I think it's a good idea to balance the budget and fundraisers if you are like traveling to Florida or whatever. So that's my comments.
Representative Tiger.
Pertaining to the senior event, what are your qualifications?
You have to be below 7 and age 7, 55 plus. In our application, it has, we changed it from last year because, or it was from the year before, there was something on there where it had you only had to speak Seminole. We changed it to speak and understand, be able to understand. You don't have to be fluent, but as long as you're able to talk.
Okay, because I'm looking at the application and it still has the word fluent. You have to be. And then the next sentence, be able to understand. So that may be an applicant that can introduce themselves. I mean, they can memorize just like the other girls do, introduce themselves, but they are not able to converse. And then the other thing is a medical clearance.
Yes.
You have to have a medical clearance.
Yes, because, there was an incident. I was in Florida and
I'll walk back to the bus. And, live with her and stay with her until she took her shot, what medicine she had to take. And at that time, you know, I kept asking myself, what do I do in case the board might do this? And I know that, you know, if I had to, I'd have to call 911 and get out there in the beds. And so we talked about it, and I said, if we do have a senior meds that runs this year, we need to make sure that we have medical clearance from the doctor, should she be diabetic or any other kind of ailment that is with her, that we want to make sure that we have documentation that she's cleared to go as long as she's taking her medicine, and that we have somebody with her to help her and to know, you know, what her ailments are. And we want to make sure that we will be able to contact, you know, family members at home. Should anything happen. I believe that would clear us for liability, and if we had to go to the hospital, you know, that would help if they would have this clearance and this medication, and probably their diagnosis, just to be on the safe side.
Whatever that age discrimination, if the younger person has training,
Well, I guess we didn't think about it. Yeah. Well, I guess we were assuming that the young ones are healthy, and we haven't come across that area yet, or should we? You know, but, I'm hoping that all these girls that are under 25, under 24, that they are, you know, and that they don't have any problems. And should they have
it
problems?
just looks like you're putting roadblocks in front of the car for your people who may want to run it, but we feel like why should I? And also, you have on your application that they must have someone with them at all times. Since that's a requirement, are you, the committee going to take the right?
She's in the chaperone, kind of.
She'll be, her trips will be paid for by the car, by the committee.
So,
Because how can we require them to have someone with them if we're not going to include them in helping them get
well, we do say that, you know, they pay their own way, whereas the person already allowed, you know, money to their way. And they carry out duty of this. And what was the time? I haven't never had any question like this, but I know that, you know, when others go like theirs, you know, they're planning themselves. I had already done it.
Then I had a question, one more question about the Florida trip. Who's not going and what's the pending?
The two princesses are going, one of their parents will be going with them, and one of Gina is going. And they're taking a van. They're flying because it's faster, so. And we don't have a driver, we was going to take a van, but they're flying now.
Fulbright.
Yes, for the upcoming pageant, have you already picked your judges and all that stuff?
Not two that we have asked, but if, in a family, we'll probably have to ask them to excuse themselves on another. We were thinking about going to Carmel with him, but we kind of decided we might do something here in Seminole, and we checked out Judge Johnston's, auditorium here in Seminole, so that might be the place. But yeah, we are looking for judges.
I just want you to make sure that their family's not in there, you know, running and you're a judge and, you know, that's not fair.
Yeah, I had asked one past princess, but she called and said that her niece was
Any other questions for him?
I just had a comment to make about, you were talking about money also, I think that if you have the ability to speak and understand, you're fluent. You know, so, you know, I think that's just a contradiction of words in that application, and might be good if y'all clarify, you know, because if you can speak and understand, you're fluent.
Thank you very much.
I just had a real quick question. My question is regards to follow up on Representative Hill. Bringing up our ceremonial grounds. Gore Creek is our only traditional ceremonial grounds. Are we not funding them at all this year as usual as prior to? Okay, because I just got word we weren't funding them, so I just wondered why, if that was true, and if it's, okay, because they are our only. Okay, thank you.
Representative Barjo.
I would like to ask the VCR Commission to go forward.
VCR.
I had a couple of questions regarding the production and tax assessment for the oil production and stuff. And according to your report here, you know, this was from 2014 to 2019. I was wanting to know how much has been collected this year, and is that going up, or is it staying the same? And so, because, I mean, your numbers here look really good, but that's over a 5-year period. What's the numbers for
Yeah,
this year?
and that's something I try to clarify every time I'm here, is keep in mind these have accumulated over a long period of time, this has happened overnight.
Right.
This isn't something that happened in a single year. So today, nothing is new. As far as production, that's why the report states that we're currently on hold pending
Right.
scopes, controversial certifications.
So when this money is collected, is this money collected on behalf of all of the tribal, like the tribe's land, or is this individual landowners?
It will be both.
And so when you collect the severance tax, when that tribal landowner gets the 1099, and can they get their taxes reduced because of that severance tax being taken out?
Severance tax is not allowed to be.
Yeah, there's intentional language within Title 33 that prevents that from happening, and there's direct legal recourse for us to take when we find that that does happen.
That was my question.
That was
Just
the major
curious.
concern, yeah. And so we'll look for certain triggers in certain areas of interest that we can determine when that happens, but we'll rely a lot on tribal members to reach out to us when they see instances of errors in payment or a deduction of some sort or just a slight decrease. That's a reason for concern. Reach out to us, let us know, make us aware.
Because I have some documents I'll share with you.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Can you share with me the opportunities y'all are talking about? So they're aware.
Okay, we had a 6-month period last year. We were open on Saturdays to tag office for motor vehicle registration, the first Saturday of the month. Then we switched back in January, I believe, to go to the last Saturday to do a comparison of sales to see which was better for tribal members. And what we found is that more people were coming in on the first Saturday of the month. So beginning in July, we want to switch back to the first Saturday of the month. But as we all know, July 4th is the first part of the year. So we've switched, and I did check, and we will be open on June 29th, which will be the last time we're open on the last Saturday of the month. But July, we will be open the 17th instead of that first Saturday because of the holiday. So thereafter, August to December, we will be open on the first Saturday of the month unless a holiday falls on that first weekend. And our vehicle registration officer is really good about including those notes in the renewal letters so people are informed of when we'll be open and what holidays, closures that we have in the upcoming months.
Representative Kishon and Representative Hill.
So what's your hours on 6/29?
6/29 will be open from 9 o'clock to 1 p.m. We have restricted new registrations. They must come in 30 minutes prior to closure. That prevents people from flying in at 4:29 with a new registration and not having all the documentation, which limits us in calling the dealership to try to help them get the information they need to register. So they would need to be here on Saturday by 12:30.
So then whenever you switch to the first Saturday of every month?
It'll still be 9 to 1.
I'll stand up. A couple of questions. Number one, what's the director?
The director broke her leg. She fractured her
Okay, we don't have to
ankle.
go any further. Okay, let's
Okay.
find out. Second of all, who are you?
My name is Sharon Scott, and I'm the executive assistant for the VCR Commission.
I spoke to you before, now I know who you are. Okay, thank you.
Any other? Representative Williams.
I don't know where y'all are aware or not. We have a resolution. As far as getting that seismic survey done on some of our travel plans. Y'all have any idea about what would be a good rate for that? Y'all have any experience that way?
A minimal amount, we were asking in the preliminary phase to do some research, some informative reporting, and then a map of the actual boundary of the property that this affects, and within that boundary, what they're actually requesting to permit. It's not the entire 1,300 acres, it's less than, it's 835 acres.
I think it's 1,000.
Oh, really? So it's changed, so I'm not privy to any of the final details of what was agreed upon or what we agreed upon. Like, I know a little bit of it, there's two different basic ways to go about getting 3D seismic surveys, and one of them is explosives, like board locations in certain areas of the ground, and then they'll do explosive charges. And there can also be like vibrating trucks that have vibrosis trucks or vehicles. They have a large pads on the vehicles, and they create a like a shock wave, if that makes sense. So the vibrations reflect off of different sediments and layers in the ground and helps them develop an overall picture of where better production can occur, or if it's even worth the interest of actually developing or going after that oil. They collect that data and they utilize it in different ways. So I mean, as far as like environmental impact, and it's minimal, but I would also say as far as the rate, $10 is pretty common. I think on average it's anywhere between 10 to 15 to 20, but we've seen instances where $5 was offered an acre, so it's not unreasonable.
Any other questions? Representative Harkin.
I just wanted to see if you consulted with our, if you're still under consultation with our Historic Preservation Office for any type of, what is the, APE or FONSIs, you know what an APE and a FONSI is, right? Area of potential effect and finding and no significant impacts. And I just needed to know if our Historic Preservation Officer, who is probably gone somewhere right now, we have local stuff that needs to be done too, and I just needed to see if we're going to be doing that with them too. Do you consult with him as well?
We have a few times, but it's really on a need-to-need basis. They've reached out to us when they need assistance with legal descriptions or overall trust listings and things of that nature for grant applications and things like that. But as far as working together in a collaborative effort towards certain goals, not really. We don't really have a.
So we don't consult with ourselves. Yeah, we consult with everyone else, but we don't consult with ourselves. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, most of what happens is we get requests from tribal departments. And then we just fulfill those requests. So if that tribal department happens to be HPO, then that's what it is. But
okay. Thank you. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Representative Hill.
Good chairperson, with program reports that come under reports of committees.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, it probably could.
Okay.
But I don't believe that any one of them, I've noticed looking out at the crowd, neither one of them are here.
Well, I mean, when they get dismissed, can you call my name so I can stand up and ask for them? Can you say what I want to say?
Yeah. So are y'all through, are everybody through? Representative Tiger.
I just have a comment about the houses. As someone who drives 100 miles to get here, I really appreciate y'all doing the Saturdays. That's great for us people who don't want to take off work during the week. So Saturdays really, really good for us.
Our directors made every effort that she could to help service tribal members better, especially those that live far away. So we do have renewals that are available by phone. We've also started registering the new tax by mail. So what you would do is you would mail all your original documents to the office, give us a phone number, they will register the vehicle. If they're missing something, they'll call you and let you know so that you can have time to fax it to us. When they enter it, when they're ready for a payment, they can call you and take your number, your credit card number, debit or credit card. We never write them down. We input them directly into the machine, and once it accepts payment, we send you the receipt with your plates and your registration and your title. And she usually sends it with mail with a tracking number, so that both you and I can track it to make sure that it gets there. So yes, we've done everything we can think of, and if you guys have any other suggestions, I know our director would be happy to hear those.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, guys. Representative Hill.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I'd like to make this legal, okay? That's the reason why I have to sit back down, raise my hand up again. Human Resources. I believe you're responsible there. They're not here today? Okay, that's what it's all about, HR director, okay? The reason why he's not here every time that he's supposed to be here, he never comes. Not only that, in the past administrations, the chief, we have told him, direct him to be here. He never shows up. Half of the time, he's not in his office at the complex, okay? That's including his employees. Okay, I'm being straight up and forward and everything. How can we achieve anything, get anything done when we don't have an HR, okay? And not only HR, as a director of personnel down there, we have other directors in the Seminole Nation. Some of the people that are sitting here have relatives working for them. They come to work when they get ready, 8:30, 9:30. They leave at 2 o'clock, 2:15, 2:45. They leave their employee there. And some of the directors sitting out here, some don't come to work at all. For about 3 days out of 5 days, they don't come to work. They keep their employee there. You know when their director's not here by noon, you know that they take off the rest of the afternoon? Nobody keeps track of these people, okay? Something has to be done about these directors. If we want to move forward and all that, you can't do everything by yourself, okay? I mean, I don't know why the other chiefs had executive staff to assist them, help them, and go around and check and all that. You don't have no one, okay? Not only that, we have an executive staff, which is the assistant chief. His office is over here somewhere, supposedly. He's only been there once since I've known. I don't know where he's at the rest of the time. So he can't really assist you or help you or anything, okay?
I'll answer that since you direct me. Whenever I go into my office, and everyone knows the situation, that's what I get. Get out. My office is not here at the Miccosukee Mission. My office is at Wewoka. And even the position that I hold as the assistant chief of this nation, I don't deserve to be harassed when I enter my own office in the Wewoka, at the Wewoka complex. And I don't want to hear all this.
No, I don't want to hear it either
Because
because I
you
did
know
not
why?
harass you. I did not harass you. We're going to change.
Out of order. He has the floor.
Understand, but he used the term that we did not harass him.
I have a perception that I'm being harassed. Since perception is such a big idea. You know, I have a perception I'm being
Did you
harassed.
harass somebody?
Absolutely not.
Well, you didn't
I will never concur.
You didn't to sit
I will never.
But anyway, Mr. Chairperson.
No, you asked me.
The court
The
decides.
court decides many,
The court decides.
the court decides many things.
So you need to sit down.
I still have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, number one, I only brought him up, I never told him to stand up or speak or anything. He got up on his own and spoke.
We are getting
That's what you
outside.
call point of order.
You are true.
If you're, I stand corrected.
Enough.
I have a right to answer if you direct something at me.
I only
Okay.
asked a question to him saying
Yes,
that.
he was directing it to
That's
me.
it.
Let's
And
move.
everything that you said, you brought that up on yourself. We didn't do it at all.
Let's move on.
Let's move along,
Let's
okay?
move on.
But
Move
anyway,
on.
HR, Mr. Chairperson, HR is not here, that's what I'm saying. I never see him at the complex. What do you do when HR ain't there? And not only that, you call, and 3 of his employees that work there, they're gone sometime, and he's there by himself. Next day, he's there, or they're there, and he's gone. And just a real fast scenario, this lady told me to bring it up, okay? This past Tuesday, she called down there between the hours of 3 and 4 o'clock. She left 3 messages on 3 of those phones. They were in there. They never answered her back, okay? 1 hour. Next following day, HR was there. She called him. He never answered or picked up when she knew he was in there because she called somebody else and guess he's in there. See, that's what I mean. Our employees, our tribal members are not getting anywhere because no one wants to answer their phone and all that. You've got a lady that's got 2 degrees, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts and all that. She put in 8 applications for a position as a director for our nation. Did you know that she never came up for any interview or anything? Now, what happened to it? Point of order. You're always pulling up
Here,
order.
all right, real quick.
Go.
All right, let's move on. Representative Votak.
It appears the council would like to move out of order to TR 2019-45. Mr. Lonnie has an appointment at 7:30 that he needs to get to.
Is there any objection to that?
Yes,
Representative McCoy.
we're still on HR, yes?
Yeah, well, we were on HR and then we were talking about procurement. I mean, you brought that up.
But HR?
Yeah, HR is fine, yes.
It'll be quick, no. The HR director, I mean, we have asked him several times, did you or Assistant Chief get an email from him saying he wasn't gonna be here?
I didn't receive an email from him.
Did you? Okay, so this is not the first time, this is a repeat thing going on. So, with him avoiding for whatever reason, I mean, he must just have the worst luck in the world not to ever be here. Can I move to do a vote of no confidence in his position as director?
I understand, and not in the total defense of him, but I know that we have talked, but I cannot remember verbatim right at the moment because we did have a discussion on Friday. And I can't remember exactly what he stated to me in regards to if there would be a case where he wouldn't be here today. I can't remember that. So in regards to that, yeah, you could, but I don't know necessarily. I can't state 100% because we talked about it. But I can't remember exactly what he stated. That's my bad.
It just seems, even if he does have a valid reason, it seems like it falls on every council meeting we have that he can't be here to answer the questions that we have.
Exactly.
I'll second that motion.
And there's a motion on the floor and a second for vote of no confidence.
I have an objection. That's not within the purview of the council to do a vote of no confidence on an employee. We're not HR.
No, you're not. That's right. Exactly. I agree with. Real quick, I agree with that. I totally agree. That's not your place to be HR. That's a personnel issue. That's a personnel issue that should be addressed through me.
Yes, that's right.
I agree. This council does exactly. You hit the nail on the head because you want to make all this other stuff.
Right?
It really should be because it's a person. It should come through me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Lynn.
Then if that's the case, my statement to you is, can you please stay on top of these? Because
Yes.
this would be the second or third director
Yes.
that you've either gave an excuse after somebody brought up and said, well, this is what we want done, and then you're, well, I think they did talk to me, or I did see something. It is your duty to stay on top of it.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
that's what you want, then you need to stay on top of them.
Agreed.
We've directed reports, audits, grants to be submitted when they're supposed to be submitted. And that is your duty. Same thing with the director of the timesheets. I asked you specifically, well, so anything comes through here? I just signed as I go. Did you see what happened with BCR? He was just signing as he went and where we are now, in embezzlement. So you have to stay on top of your job as well.
Yes, agree. I'm not disputing that at all. Representative Williams. Representative Fulbright.
Yes, that is our job to stay on top of what you're expected to do it. So I guess the no confidence would be in him not doing his job and seeing that these employees are getting information to us, you know, like we suggest. Just like the communications. Oh, where's he at today? I asked where the newspaper was last time. I didn't get a clear answer. I was just blew me off, you know, whatever. You're not doing your job as far as getting us the information. No trans, like I said before, you got all upset about it. There's no transparency here.
You got all upset about it. Okay. Representative Williams.
Chair, I believe we've gone past the committees and now we're working into program reports. And I would like to make a motion that we move forward, since the program is not here, that we move forward with our other business. New business, I'm sorry.
Representative.
I just, a little bit of information, Representative Fulbright, I did speak with Bo, I asked. Apparently something about the paperwork he was submitted didn't have the accurate number. He is supposed to be issuing out 12 issues per year. Of course, he may not meet that now, but he said he's going to start getting them out. So we'll see.
Well, he's out and about traveling.
Okay. Representative Williams.
I made a motion, I asked for a second, to move the new business.
Second. Is there any objections to that?
That's your job.
Is there any objections to going? Huh?
I object.
There's an objection to the motion and a second to go into new business. So with it, real quick, Representative Yahola, if it objects, are we to stay in programs or do you want to go ahead and break the recess?
I thought we just, I don't know why the resources, I was going to sit down.
Oh, well, so, move past the committee.
It's never been clear where we're at. It's kind of, we just jump.
I'll withdraw the motion and we'll go back to the minutes and finish up the business.
Who's going to withdraw the motion?
It's already been seconded.
Yeah, he withdrew it. You withdrew it. Well, he didn't.
Sit down.
There was a motion and a second, whatever happened on that?
Yes.
It was withdrawn?
No.
Withdrew it?
Yeah, but Representative Botok, did you want to go,
TL 2019-45.
that you wanted to go out of order for that, to address that because Walter had to leave early and then it got into something else? So we have a motion on the floor to ask to see if they could go out of line and in a second to address the resolution in new business for Mr. Larney because Mr. Larney had some stuff that he needed to go to. Y'all object to that?
Does he need to be here for that?
It's an appointment.
I mean, it's not big. He never had anybody.
He's already in this position, all we do is, we don't have to be here.
Just to yeah.
See, maybe.
Thank you, Walter, for coming.
Yeah, Walter. Yeah, thank you very much, Walter. Appreciate it. Something else?
I had questions for early childhood, they're not here.
What did you have, Mr.?
Questions for early childhood.
Representative Yahola had his hand first.
Oh, okay.
Representative Yahola.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Well, that's.
Good morning. Good morning, Steve.
Steve, a quick question. I have recently heard, and I just want confirmation that you went ahead with the telecom thing that you was looking into, that you were venturing about, and you getting information about, that y'all went ahead and said that was actually.
That's correct.
Okay. I thought, I was under the impression that we brought back to us as far as, your company
steps approval type deal. That was never the intent.
It was the attempt. I think Mr. Ronnie tabled it, and I just naturally assumed it would get on the next council meeting. It did not. And Rick and that was in a position where
Time frame.
yeah, they were applying for grants. And they had the Attorney General told us we had the authority to approve the suite.
Okay. Like I said, she's probably right. I'm not quoting her. But at the same time, some information as far as you say that you don't do it, it kind of questions that. That was my concern.
Which was intended.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Cindy? Representative Kishkin.
Is anyone from Older American at Program Advisory Board?
No.
Tribal Roads.
Mr. Johnson, Trouble Roads. Mr. Johnson. Good morning, sir.
Tribal Roads, Tribal Drive.
No worries.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of our band members wanted to know if you do if she's a tribal member over the driveways, since the storms and everything, she can't get in and out of her.
Sure. She just needs to come in, make application, so we can go out and see what needs to be done. And that's all there is to it. There'll be a lot, since these storms and everything, we're gonna be pretty busy now. But, and right now also, it's too wet to get out there and do a good job. But yeah, any tribal member come in, let us know, and we'll get it taken care of.
Okay.
Thank you.
Representative Harder.
Gaming Enterprise,
Oh, no, Gaming Enterprise.
whatever, casino means.
Yeah, Billy Dan, she is not gonna be able to be here today. Her mother had an incident in Iowa, and so she had to go to Iowa to be with her mother. Representative Gibson.
Can you please give us an update, since we don't have any manager boards for Grissom?
Updates on the Grisso. Well, I can tell you this, that we had Joella Jones to do an Alta appraisal on the property, and that the Alta appraisal showed that the value of it to be $1.3 million. The talking with Carter Real Estate to use them to put the Grisso up for sale. The loan value still remaining on it is $1.77 million. In talking with them, because in the resolution y'all gave me the authority to negotiate, to bring it back to negotiate the price on it, I'm going to list it at $1.77 million, whatever our loan is worth, and then hopefully we'll be able to pick up more than what the appraisal is, the value of the appraisal. So that's where we stand with the Grisso right now. And then we have to, cover whatever, whatever that is, as far as the payment. Same with the vendors.
So is there no monthly payments? They're ceased? Okay.
Representative Marjo.
Just now, I heard comments about Billy Dan.
Yes, ma'am.
And in our band meeting, we had a lot of mention of her name, and they want to know when the grievance committee is going to be put in place for her, because there's some grievances out there that haven't been answered to. We We have some, band members that have grievances in that they've not heard from it, and it's been at least probably 2 months
Okay.
that I know of, because I went over there with him when he talked to those people about his, grievance and picked up some papers and things. So, we need to follow up on that and get those committees in, get their committee, potential committees in there, I guess, you know, to get that committee going, because nothing has been spoken to in that area.
Yes, ma'am. Representative Hill.
Last thing I'll say, okay, before lunch. Anyway, with all these so-called directors that we have within our nation and all that, it appears as though that they take advantage of us pertaining to general counsel. The 28 of us that's supposed to be here. And anyway, they continuously avoiding of being here when their names appeal and all that. And you hear a lot of grunts, etc. What we're going to do about it, Chief? What are you going to do about it? And all that. They're your directors and all that, okay? You hear that all over, okay? Number one, if you had the power of that will that you're supposed to have had first time, these directors shouldn't be here. But now y'all gonna have to suffer because y'all took the at will away from them. And not only that, people don't understand some of the bands that we have within our nation, the 14 bands. They think just because they took at will away from you, if we should give that at will back to you, that all the employees would be terminated by you. No, it does not work like that. They have directors. They have employees. Director can fire any employee, not by him, okay? They need to get together, know what's going on with the Seminole Nation instead of making their own code of laws, okay? But now, all these directors that are gone, all you can do is slap them on the hand like it's been happening the last 10 years I've been around. And not only that, if you want to get rid of a director and all that, you can go ahead and get a written report, verbal, and then if they do something wrong 2 more times, the 3rd time, you can terminate the guy or her without at will status that's given to him that he holds, okay, y'all don't know. But it's easier when you got at will. No question, no answer, adios, hit the road. And the reason why? Because these employees that we have here that are relatives, that work together, that know each other, are lazy.
Yeah, I know.
They're used to it. They don't know what work is. They want to come when they get ready, they leave when they get ready, and they'll tell the other person down the road, hey, you're going to get fired and we heard this, etc. If you do your job, okay, even one person that was just fired about 2 months ago, that person was laying on the table when they're supposed to be working. That's why that person was terminated, okay? You don't lay on tables, okay? My God, people, wake up.
Representative Hill.
You know, we have a lot of boards, committees, commissions. They help perform oversight for some of these departments. We have so many vacancies and so many people extended a term. There's no nominations coming forward. This at-will policy would go away if nominations for the personnel board came here. As soon as they're here, as soon as they're approved, it goes back to at-will. At-will can work when it's not used as a political weapon. And tonight, that's what has happened to these people. So I just want to take care of the employees, put the personnel back in place, and it goes back to at-will. That's all you have to do.
Representative Bissell, did you have your hand
I just want to make an announcement right before lunch.
up?
I don't want to take anything away from anybody else. But there's a basketball fundraiser going on down here. They're selling Indian tacos for $7 for drink, dessert down here at the North Community Building.
Okay.
If there's no objection, I ask the council to go into no business. It shouldn't take more than 30 minutes or so.
Can you just put HR back on the agenda yet again? And if in fact he can't make it, he foresees he can't make it, I want it in writing to not just you guys, but to the entire council.
If there's no objections, just keep bypassing lunch and just continuing on into new business and scrolling through.
Yes.
Is that with that? All right, that sounds good. Yeah. All right, the next order of business is new business. Travel Ordinance 2019-05, sponsored by Representative Fannie Harjo.
Okay, I have the travel ordinance of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma, repealing travel ordinance 2019-01. And I would bring this forth to you, but my band instructed me to withdraw it. So that's,
Thank you very much, Mrs. Marjo. Next order of business.
under duress.
Next order of business is tribal ordinance 2019-06. Representative Votak.
Following to the simulation will return amending the simulation finance code, Title 14, Chapter 6, Title Compliance Law, as restricted.
Call for question. Question called for.
Leota Simpson. Yes. Anthony Conley.
Yes.
John Arcady.
No.
Rena Tiger. No. Sylvia Davis.
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez.
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo.
Yes.
Tim Hepburn.
No.
Kelly Davis.
No.
Anita Luna. Abstain. Patricia Kishkaton.
Abstain.
Karen Fulbright.
No.
Tina Tiger.
No.
Jennifer Horn.
No.
Sina Yesla.
No.
Thomas Jahola.
No.
Abraham Harani.
No.
Susie Harjo.
No.
Natalie Harjo.
Yes.
Gregory Botoff.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Fanny Harjo.
No.
Kelsey Morrell.
No.
Regina Langford.
Yes.
William Williams.
Yes.
By a count of 11 yes, 13 no, citizens declare that measure to effect. Next order of business is tribal resolution 2019-38. Representative Hill.
A tribal resolution of General Council of Seminole Nation of Oklahoma authorizing the ceasement agreement between the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma and Reach Energy Limited.
Second.
My dad had a few questions on this. We were wanting additional details. What would be done with the money, and was HIPPO contacted?
Was what?
HIPPO, were they contacted?
Not that I'm aware of as far as HIPAA. And I missed the first part of your question, I'm sorry.
We were wanting to know what would be done with the money.
Oh,
Going added back to the general fund.
General fund.
I'd like to make a motion to table this until further detail.
There's a motion on the floor to table it.
Second.
Leota Simpson.
Yes.
Anthony Conley.
Yes.
John Arcady.
Abstain.
Rena Tiger.
Abstain.
Sylvia Davis. Raimundo Gomez. Jeffrey Harjo.
No.
Timothy Hooper.
Yes.
Kelly Davis.
Yes.
Anita Luna.
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Demon Tiger.
Yeah.
Jennifer Horn.
Yes.
Sina Yesla.
Yes.
Thomas Jahola.
Yes.
Abraham Harani.
Yes.
Susie Harjo.
Yes.
Natalie Harjo.
Yes.
Gregory Botoff.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Abstain.
Charlie Hill.
Abstain.
Fanny Harjo.
Yes.
Kelsey Morrell.
Yes.
Regina Langford.
Yes.
William Williams.
Yes. count of 19 yes, 2 no, and 5 abstentions, declare that measure to be tabled. Okay. Next order of business is tribal resolution 2019-39. Representative.
I make a motion that we approve tribal resolution 2019-39. This is a resolution authorizing amendment to the tobacco compact to the state of Oklahoma and the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. Actually, what this is just extending our time to negotiate this tribal tobacco compact. And like I said, I make a motion to approve. Ask for a second. To let you guys.
Bring it. No, bring it.
Okay, to let you guys know what's going on. Apparently, back at the end of 2018, Seminole Nation Council passed a resolution to extend the negotiations for 6 months to June 30th, 2019, which is at the end of this coming month, this month rather. And all we're doing is asking that we extend the negotiations for up to a year. So if this passes today, it'll be extended until a year from now. We're hoping that it won't take that long to extend the negotiations, but we're just doing this so that we can still continue to negotiate. That's all.
Representative.
Some more information too.
Okay, Representative.
Go ahead.
Just real quick, I put the 12 months in there because we didn't have an exact time. We've been trying to meet with the governor for the past 3 months, and so I think it's going to be more along the lines of 6 months. That's as far as we're going to extend it because we're waiting on that particular case that we're talking to. But that just gives us a little bit of leeway in case we go 7 months or 8 months or whatever. So that's what it's about. And the reason why you don't have a document right in front of you is because we were still trying to get the document last night at 7 o'clock. It's just that because of the flooding, the governor just couldn't get to it. And this will be the same form as approved the last 6 months.
In lieu of that information, I would ask for a friendly amendment to 6 months.
Well, it's just time. All it is we expect to have it done by 6 months, but just in case if something were to happen, that we still have that time frame to work with. That's it. It has nothing to do with, we want to be done with it by 6 months.
So my request for a friendly amendment stands.
I reject that.
You accept it?
No.
I'll reject it? I don't know.
Why you gotta be like that?
Because it was just explained.
Yeah, just explain. Any questions? Questions called.
Leah Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Narcome,
Yes.
Brandon Tiger, yes. Sylvia Davis,
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton, Karen Fulbright,
Is that a yes?
Dean Tiger, yes. Jennifer Horn,
Yes.
Cindy Eslick,
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr., Thomas Jehola,
Yes.
Abraham Karani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo,
Yes.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Manny Harjo, Kelsey Morrell, Regina Langford, William Williams,
Yes. By count of 26 yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Next order of business is tribal resolution 2019-40. Representative Barjo.
Yes, I would like to introduce tribal resolution 2019-40, resolution of the General Council rescinding tribal resolution 2017-13 regarding the live stream of the Seminole Nation General Council meetings to the internet. Make a motion to approve, ask for a second.
Second. Representative Young.
Yes. I think the concern is, without the live stream, without the newspaper, we're going to get the information out there, especially to the tribal members. I mean, yeah, that gets twisted around 2 or 3 times once it goes down the line, so. Exactly. That's my concern.
Representative Rubin.
This is transparent. It's a major tool of transparency for information that the administration has promised transparency.
Yes. Yes, my comment is that this video will still be available. All I'm saying is it's not live stream as it happens. Like it's not live TV. It'll be available either later today, Monday, it'll still be available to tribal members. So that's what wasn't included in the resolution. That's what I wanted to be included in the resolution, but it'll still be available. So there's no, what would you say, keeping information away from the tribal members? That's not gonna happen. We're just saying it's not gonna be live, that's all.
Representative Ronnie and Representative Gissler.
So then my question is, so it's gonna be recorded and probably edited?
Call for the question on it.
Thank you, ma'am. Secretary, call roll.
Leah Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley,
No.
John Murphy,
No.
Brian Tiger, Sylvia Davis, Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
No.
Kelly Davis,
No.
Anita Lena, Patricia Kishkaton, Karen Fuller, Dina Tiger, Jennifer Horn, Cindy Yesler, Thomas Shahola,
No.
Abraham Ferrani,
No.
Susie Harjo, Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Kathy McCoy, Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Fanny Harjo, Kelsey Morrell, Gina Langford, William Williams,
Yes. By a count of 8 yes, 18 no, and 0 abstentions, declare that measure to have failed.
What's that count again?
8, 18, and 0. Yes, sir. Next order of business is Tribal Resolution 2019-41, Representative Boton.
Tribal Resolution of the General Council of the Nation of Oklahoma confirming the appointment of Lisa W. Hoover as Associate Judge for the Seminole Nation District Court. That's for a second.
Second.
Representative Howard.
Call for the question.
Questions called. Call roll.
Leah Sampson,
No.
Anthony Conley, John Murphy,
Yes.
Brianna Tiger,
Yes.
Sylvia Davis,
No.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena, Patricia Kishkaton,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright, Dina Tiger, Jennifer Horn,
Yes.
Cindy Yesler,
Yes.
Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo, Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy, Charlie Hill,
No.
Fanny Harjo, Kelsey Morrell, Regina Langford, William Williams,
Yes. yes, 5 noes, 0 abstentions. Declare that measure to have passed. Next order of business is tribal resolution 2019-42. Representative Williams.
I'd like to introduce tribal resolution 2019-42, tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma confirming the reappointment of the Honorable Joe Taylor to the Seminole Nation Supreme Court. I ask for a second.
Second.
Call for the question.
Leota Simpson,
Yeah.
Anthony Conley, John Archibald,
Yes.
Rena Tyler, yes. Sylvia Davis,
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton,
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Dina Tiger,
Yeah.
Jennifer Horn,
Yes.
Cindy Yesla,
Yes.
Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo,
Yes.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botow,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Benny Harjo, Benny Harjo, Kelsey Morrell,
Yes.
Regina Langford,
Yes.
William Williams,
Yes.
By count of 26 yes, 0 no, 0 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Next order of business is tribal resolution 2019-43. Representative Boton.
Tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma confirming the appointment of Robert Gifford, Associate Judge of the Seminole Nation District Court, as presented.
Second.
Representative Hooper.
I just have a question, maybe John can answer you. Sponsor, who that was? What, was he the one that withdrew last time?
John said he didn't. John?
Yes, he said he didn't have time.
He didn't have time. Is there anything you can like this on as to why he has time now?
No, I don't know what he
Know about it?
Thank you.
Does he know about the appointment?
Yes, he does.
And he agreed now he's got time?
Yes, he is aware.
Is that in writing?
There was a no, it's not, but there is misinformation in regards to the schedule that was to be presented for him to work on, but once he found out the schedule that he was going to be working from, he was fine with that, and he said he could make that work. Call for the question. Question call.
Leota Simpson,
No.
Anthony Conley, John Archibald,
We're going to have to stand on this one.
Rena Tiger, Sylvia Davis, Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton, Karen Fulbright,
Abstain.
Dina Tiger,
Abstain.
Jennifer Horn,
Yes.
Cindy Yesla,
Yes.
Thomas Shahola,
No.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo,
Yes.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Botow,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Benny Harjo,
Yes.
Kelsey Morrell,
Yes.
Regina Langford,
Yes.
William Williams,
Yes.
By count of 18 yes, 3 no, and 5 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Next order of business, tribal resolution 2019-44.
Tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving modification of the FY19 Seminole Nation Cultural Resources Budget and the 2019 comprehensive budget. Ask for a second.
Second.
Representative Martin.
My bad, but a question as far as the implementation of this. It's great that students will be asked to apply, what are the specific criteria for the students? Is it just first come, first applications will be accepted, or was there a certain table of gradings for any applicants?
My understanding was that they were trying to first.
Was it just the first applicants that applied were automatically accepted?
I'm not sure it's exact record. I think that I'll have to check that email he sent to recently.
Yeah, all I saw was the application. It didn't list any specific. It asked for the general information, what was your name, title affiliation.
Looking for, I know he's looking for juniors through early college. Geo, what are you looking for?
But I just mean, was there a specific criteria, or was it simply the first 10 applicants that he received?
We can ask him in our meeting in regards to your question to address that. Representative Gibson.
And that was some of the questions I had in my band meeting, was just because sometimes they're already pre-selected, because I hadn't heard anything. I saw the flyer I was provided, the only thing that I saw was must be high school junior or older to qualify, is what was said. That's the only thing that this flyer says.
But I mean, there may be several.
Yeah, that's why I said it's not specific.
It's a limited pool. There's not going to be a lot of them.
Yeah, like 10.
I was still calling the question.
Our band has a question about because in one place he says as a patron officer, 12 students and chaperones to Oklahoma Healthy, and he gives an amount. But later under supplies he says food costs are like meals, snacks, drinks, and makes $10 a day for 10 days for 10 participants. So that was all. So is it 12 or is it 10?
In regards to what you're talking about, this has been passed already too, real quick. This grant's been passed. We just need to work on a little bit of the details in regards to the questions. The only problem, the only problem that we really are faced with here is that we just haven't had budgets put into the comprehensive budget to be able to operate. And so that's what we're trying to get done so that we can proceed with further questions.
Sure. In reference to that, okay, the only thing that I saw that I brought up during our band, was the fact that we're talking about Ted, right?
Yes.
Isom.
Yes.
He's in charge of these so-called 10 children that's going to be going to Florida. My question was, why, this has to do with Seminole Nation, okay, Seminole tribe. How come we don't have a Seminole individual taking the children down to Florida instead of having an outsider who is non-Seminole? He's a Creek. Nobody looked at it that way, and I believe Rodney can back us up a lot. But we all try to work under the tribal customs within our nation. But we allow someone else from another tribe to come and take our children down. The children are supposed to be escorted with their parents, etc., okay? But then the answer that I got, like everything else, everybody's got an answer to everything, okay? Is Oliver Seminole?
Well, I'm not disputing your comment, but he is our director for HBO. And even though he might be Creek, but he's representing that department underneath the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma. And if it is to, in my thoughts on this, common wise across the board, he should be distinguishing whether it be Seminole or, traditions or customs, because he is an employee of the Seminole Nation in that capacity. That's just my thoughts in regards to that.
I mean, that's a very good answer, but if we had a white man up there, okay, that'd be okay too?
That'd be up to you. I mean, up to whomever hires that individual. Representative Ishkatons.
Like, how were they selected?
I don't know. That's Mr. Narking's got a criteria. What from those juniors to older? What's the criteria? That's what he is wanting to know. Is that how did they pull those 10 out of that age group?
And was there a flyer or something that was circulated?
That's my understanding.
I was going to give it to JOM, but I don't think Strawberry's received it. I think Seminole School received it. I don't know if any other schools
And
have.
then just like a suggestion, you know, we got the bands, how come there could have been one representative from each band?
Representative, you hold it, and then Representative Williams.
Question.
Go quick. Understand?
We have a question. It's, just any negative children that's within our jurisdiction, or is it just limited to simulation?
What was your question?
Is it for simulation tribal members only?
It's any, well, I just said, they said, you said preference?
Yeah.
Seminole preference?
Seminole preference, and if they don't get enough Seminole students, then it goes to other tribal members, and then if not, then.
And the grants are
any student.
to the budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can't do it for
There's no other question, there's been question called for.
So can we make a motion to table until we get this information? When's the rest?
Yeah, it's, all we're doing, all that we're doing is that we need to bring back, we need to talk with him and bring back some questions that you guys had in regards to the criteria of how you qualify for it, because if that's a question, then we can disseminate that out to all of you guys. Because the problem is that y'all passed this budget in 2017. You've already passed it. We just need to get a little bit of details ironed out. This has gone out there way too far because it's already been addressed. We just need, you brought up the criteria thing, so we need to address the criteria thing through Ted Isham. So once we get that, whatever those qualifications are between a junior to whatever age group, then we can disseminate that out to you guys. And that'll let you know. And then we can talk with him about a timeline when he's going to put it out for requirements to be met. Representative.
On page 3 of 10 of his phase 3, protecting our places, it says identify and recruit high school students / young adults, collaborate with Seminole Nation JOM Department of the Seminole State College, selected based on tribal enrollment, an essay, and a letter of reference. So that's what I see in here.
That's the qualification.
I mean, I don't know who's going to vote on that, if it's who's going to have the be-all, end-all say-so.
Probably him.
What is the deadline?
The deadline is August 31st. Before you, if we don't do it by then, we can get all that. 24,000.
That's a good one.
That's the deadline for the grant.
The classes are 2-week camps here, July 8th through the 11th at the Mission. July 21st through the 26th, it's at Tallahassee, Florida. And then August 5th through the 6th, it's back here at the Mission. Those are the camp dates. So it's before the 31st of August. So it does happen.
I believe we should be able to call the course.
Brianna Sampson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley,
Yes.
John Ruckley,
Yes.
Brina Tiger,
Yes.
Sylvia Davis, Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lena,
No.
Patricia Kishkatan,
No.
Karen Fulbright, Lena Tiger, Jennifer Horn,
Yes.
Tina Gessler,
Yes.
Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Perani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo,
Yes.
Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Lotoff,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy,
Yes.
Charlie Hill,
Yes.
Benny Harjo, Kelsey Morrell,
Yes.
Regina Langford,
Yes.
William Williams,
Yes. count of 24 yes, 2 no, and 0 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed.
I'm sorry, what was that?
24, 2, and 0. Next order of business is Tribal Resolution 2019-45. Representative Gonzalez.
Tribal resolution of General Council of Assembly Nation of Oklahoma, appointing Walter Marty to the Assembly Nation of Oklahoma Veterans Affairs Committee. That's his name.
Second.
Leota Simpson.
Yes.
Anthony Conley. John Archibald.
No.
Rena Tiger. No. Sylvia Davis. Raimundo Gomez.
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo.
Yes.
Timothy Hooper.
Yes.
Kelly Davis.
Yes.
Anita Lena.
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Dina Tiger.
Yes.
Jennifer Horn.
Yes.
Tina Yesla.
Yes.
Thomas Jahola.
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani.
Yes.
Susie Harjo.
Yes.
Natalie Harjo.
Yes.
Gregory Boca.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Benny Harjo. Kelsey Morrell.
Yes.
Regina Langford.
Yes.
William Wynns.
Yes.
By count of 23 yes, 3 no, 0 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Next order of business is Tribal Resolution 2019-46. Representative Williams.
I'd like to introduce Tribal Resolution 2019-46. Tribal Resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma authorizing the renewal of the inmate detention agreement for the Seminole County. Ask for a second.
Second.
Leota Simpson.
Yes.
Anthony Conley. John Archibald.
Yes.
Rena Tiger. Yes. Sylvia Davis.
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez.
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo.
Yes.
Timothy Hooper.
Yes.
Kelly Davis.
Yes.
Anita Lena.
Yes.
Patricia Kishkaton.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Dina Tiger.
Yeah.
Jennifer Horn.
Yes.
Tina Yesla.
Yes.
Thomas Billy Jr. Thomas Jahola.
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani.
Yes.
Susie Harjo.
Yes.
Natalie Harjo.
Yes.
Gregory Boca. Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Benny Harjo. Kelsey Morrell. Regina Langford.
Yes.
William Waynes.
Yes.
By count of 25 yes, 0 no, and 0 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Next order of business is Tribal Resolution 2019-47. Representative Williams.
Tribal Resolution 2019-47, a tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the application of the 2019 OPM Federal Law Enforcement Pay Scale to the Seminole Nation Law Enforcement Police Department Pay Scale. Ask for a second.
Second.
There's concerns with this because of course it doesn't come with a budget modification or justification, but it kind of sounds like I was wanting to ask the finance committee if they've already seen this, approved this.
We've not, from my understanding, that we introduced it in 2020, it's approved here.
Okay, well, see, so it's going out of the procedure. I make a motion to take this. Mr. Second.
There's a a motion on the floor to, at this time, to table Tribal Resolution 2019-47. Secretary, call roll, please.
Leota Simpson,
Yes.
Anthony Conley, John Archibald,
Yes.
Sabrina Tiger. Yes. Sylvia Davis.
Yes.
Raimundo Gomez,
Yes, table.
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
Yes.
Kelly Davis,
Yes.
Anita Lina. Yes. Patricia Gutierrez.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Dina Tiger. Yes. Jennifer Horn.
No.
Cindy Yesler. No. Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
No.
Susie Harjo. No. Natalie Harjo.
No.
Gregory Boto,
No.
Catherine McCoy. No. Charlie Hill,
No.
Fanny Harjo. No. Kelsey Morrell. No. Regina Langford. No. William Williams.
No. Count at 14 yes, 12 no, 0 abstentions. Declare the table to have passed. Okay. There's some things that I need to talk with you guys. I know we kind of jumped around a little bit on this and everything, but there are some things that I want to mention to you guys. The property management is going to be holding a silent auction on July 12th for the surplus vehicles. Don't know the exact time of when that's going to take place, but it's going to take place across from the old gym. And so we have several vehicles and buses that are all lined up right there and have them surplus out. Representative Martin.
We have the other business resolution.
Yes.
There's no objection. Senate Nation of Oklahoma Travel Resolution 2019, 48. A resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma General Council authorizing the Housing Authority of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma to prepare and submit the Indian Housing Block Grant Program competitive grant on behalf of the Seminole Nation. I make this motion, ask for a second.
Second.
What?
Leota Simpson. No. Anthony Conley, John Archibald,
Yes.
Sabrina Tiger. Yes. Sylvia Davis. Raimundo Gomez,
Yes.
Jeffrey Harjo,
Yes.
Timothy Hooper,
No.
Kelly Davis,
No.
Anita Lina. Yes. Patricia Gutierrez.
Yes.
Karen Fulbright,
Yes.
Dina Tiger. Yes. Jennifer Horn.
Yes.
Cindy Yesler,
Yes.
Thomas Shahola,
Yes.
Abraham Ferrani,
Yes.
Susie Harjo. Yes. Natalie Harjo,
Yes.
Gregory Boto,
Yes.
Catherine McCoy. Abstain. Charlie Hill,
Abstain.
Fanny Harjo. Abstain. Kelsey Morrell. Abstain. Regina Langford. Yes. William Williams.
Yes. By a count of 17 yes, 5 no, 4 abstentions, declare that measure to have passed. Representative Yohola.
Yes, just to say right quick, I just want to remind, because we know the audit is due at the end of this month. I just want to make sure, make you aware, finance committee aware, that needs to come before general council, because that is done by code. So, just a reminder.
There is something We have, coming up, I believe it's at the end of July, we have a balloon payment that's coming up on the Self property. And I need to get y'all's permission to refinance that because we're not gonna be able to handle the balloon payment that's coming up. But I need y'all's permission, a motion and through y'all and everything, to give me the authorization to refinance that loan.
Your chairperson, goes to it.
Yes. You make the motion? Yes, sir. Second? Questions?
Options. Oh, I was gonna ask, how much?
Well, the balloon payment's like $850,000, it's like $850,000 that's coming up. And so I know that that's what's coming up.
Phillips,
No, it's a Self property.
down here, 918 acres.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a very smart purchase that man.
Oh, no, it's all, Representative Phillips.
So you're just going to negotiate and bring that back here, those terms back here?
Yeah, I just need to be able to have the authorization to refinance. But if you want,
Negotiate finance, then bring it here.
if you want me to bring it back, then we're gonna have to call a special meeting for it.
What's the status of the mileage?
Oh, no. Yeah, we have to continue that.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.